There are two main types of paper I like to use for drawing. We have our sketch paper and our sketchbooks, and our drawing paper and our drawing books. Now, sketch paper is what I like to use because it's cheaper. So if I just want to doodle or get something down, or I don't really care about the drawing, then this is what I'll usually gravitate toward. Honestly, it's mostly because it's cheaper, where this is a lot more expensive when we get especially to this paper over here, which I'll talk about in just a second. In general with sketchbooks, the paper is thinner, which makes it to where it's not going to hold on to very much graphite. So your drawings can't actually get super dark. I've got an example of that right here with this Jeep drawing. In this one, I didn't actually get very dark, but the paper already has such a gloss and a shine to it. And that's because the paper is so thin, it can't really absorb that graphite. So this is what we were talking about in the last video, where if I tried to apply any of that graphite powder that we created, the paper isn't going to be able to hold on to much of it, so it's not ever going to get very dark. It even says right here that sketch paper has a fine-tooth surface, and it is for preliminary drawing. That's kind of what I use it for, what it says right on the cover there. Then we have our drawing paper. Our drawing paper is going to be thicker. It has a medium surface, and as you can see right here, this one says it's for finished artwork, which is nice and all, and it does give us a lot more grip to the paper because it's thicker. It does absorb more of the graphite. I use graphite powder in this one to get much darker. Yes, it does still have shine to it, but it doesn't have as much shine as it would as if I tried to do this on the sketchbook paper. And because the paper has a little bit more tooth to it, my pencil actually has a little bit more drag, and therefore I can get a lot more detailed just because the paper gives me a little bit more of a resistance as I'm drawing across it. I really like this drawing paper. This has been my go-to for years and years and years, all the way up until I saw a couple of other YouTubers talk about watercolor paper. More specifically, hot pressed watercolor paper. And this stuff is amazing. Hot pressed will make sure that is a nice smooth surface for you to draw on. It has just the right amount of grip to the paper, whereas the cold press has a lot more texture to it. So for pencil drawings, hot press is going to be the way to go. And the paper is a lot thicker because it's watercolor paper. One thing that I really like about this, if you have any client work, then giving somebody a drawing that's on this type of paper versus the other drawing paper we're looking at, it feels worth it. I don't know any other way to say it. Moving forward, I think that all of my finished works are going to be on this paper right here. So I'm not sponsored by any of these brands that we've talked about or anything like that. There's other hot pressed watercolor paper out there, and experiment. See which one you like. This one was available at my local art store, which is why I got it. And in fact, I like this paper so much that I learned bookbinding just so I was able to teach myself how to create a book out of the paper that I wanted to have. So this book right here is made entirely out of that hot pressed watercolor paper. So the paper is a lot thicker, and it's just a dream to draw on. The downside is that it's actually such nice paper that sometimes I don't want to mess it up. So I'll come in here intentionally, make a nice big sketch for myself, so that way it's not perfect. I don't have to just look inside this drawing book and see just perfectionism. I'm allowing myself to get messy with it. And I think that's really important whenever you get some more expensive paper, is to do something like that. So that way you're not treating it like I shouldn't draw on this unless it's going to be a masterpiece. But one of the downsides with it is that it can definitely hurt your bank account. So this book cost me about $100 to make. And I went a little crazy, and I even spent $23 on a single sheet of paper. Oh my gosh, it's so, hold up, let me zoom out. This paper is massive. It is a huge sheet of paper. It is hot press, still that same brand for me, because again, that's what they sell. It's got those nice edges on them that, I forget what that's called, but some people cut them off. I'm probably gonna leave them on. I like that unfinished look. and I have something super cool planned for this one, I think. So that'll be in a future video. But in the meantime, check out this sketchbook tour video where I will go through other drawings that I've done in this book, including my favorite drawing that I've done to date.